Recently, there's been a lot of attention paid towards independently produced animation, with artists using platforms like YouTube to showcase what they can create outside the big studios. Of course, even well before the recent influx, quite a few animators made a name for themselves working largely by themselves. After stints at Disney and UPA, John Hubley started directing his own personal animated shorts alongside his wife Faith and received wide recognition and multiple Academy Award nominations. Bill Clinton is another notable example, often animating his films by himself. Don Hertzfeldt has similarly gotten a lot of attention for his independent shorts. His animated, Oscar-nominated short, Rejected, is even considered one of the earliest viral internet successes. With animation software and other techniques becoming more accessible, we've seen a lot of budding artists using these resources to help bring their ideas to life. Hoodwink became a notable success story, being produced independently before eventually being acquired for distribution and doing well at the box office. Sita Sings the Blues, an animated feature the director Nina Paley released on the internet for free, was critically praised for its creativity, with Roger Ebert among its biggest champions. Over in Ireland, Tom Moore and his studio Cartoon Saloon would spend years searching for funding on that first feature, The Secret of Kells, and its surprise Oscar nomination turned them into a major animation player in Europe while staying largely independent. Of course, global festivals have been instrumental in bringing attention to these independent animators and their work. Spike and Mike's Festival of Animation was founded in 1977 and would help highlight several notable animated shorts from artists who would later become big names. They deserve particular credit for helping to bring the films produced by Aardman Animation to the United States, including such classic Nick Park shorts as Creature Comforts and A Grand Day Out. With the advent of YouTube, that gave animation artists another avenue to showcase their work and get it seen by many people. Several animated shorts have gone viral on there, often when they tap into something with viewers. A notable success was the student film In a Heartbeat, which captured attention for its touching depiction of young love. It would even be shortlisted for the Best Animated Short Oscar. Another short that got people talking was Bar Time, which was directed by Pixar artists Andrew Coates and Lou Hamoulage. This Western short is a far cry from what we normally expect from Pixar, so it was produced independently, albeit still using the company's resources. After playing at festivals, it eventually made its way online and was praised for its use of the Western setting and the themes, and would eventually receive an Oscar nomination. I think there is value in the work produced by the big studios, but it's also great when artists are given freedom to explore their ideas their own way. You also see artists making their longtime passion projects independently. I talked about Andrew Chesworth in a previous video, and now he spent several on and off years directing his short The Brave Locomotive, eventually releasing it in 2023 to high praise and viewership on YouTube. After legendary animator Andreas Deja left Disney following the production of Winnie the Pooh, he began work on his own independent short, Mushka. After providing updates in his blog, the short was finally released in 2023 and was greatly admired for the stunning animation. Another Disney veteran, John Musker, would follow a similar route with a short film, I'm Hip. That would make the festival rounds, starting at the world-renowned French animation festival Annecy, where a lot of these shorts premiere. It's surprising it has not made its way online, though. Probably the most remarkable rise of an indie animator has been Latvian artist Gints Pilotis. Using off-the-shelf animation software like Maya and Blender, he first gained attention for his feature film Away, and then especially shot to prominence with Flow. Its dialogueless narrative of a bunch of animals on a boat became an audience favorite at film festivals before its eventual release. The charm and universality of Flow would even lead to winning the Oscar for Best Animated Feature, the first for an entirely independent production. An independent studio that has gained attention for the animation is an Australian company named Glitch Productions. Glitch actually reminds me a lot of what Nickelodeon and Cartoon Network became known for in the 90s and 2000s, as they developed pilots by a variety of artists with the possibility of turning them into series. And certainly the most popular of these is The Amazing Digital Circus, which has gained viewers with its creative animation and emotional storylines. Created by Gooseworks, the series takes inspiration from 90s era computer animation to tell its story of a bunch of characters trapped in a virtual reality world. While it's become the norm nowadays for streaming services like Netflix to release episodes all at once, Glitch smartly decided against that for The Amazing Digital Circus, allowing Gooseworks to take the time needed to make the episodes, and this further allowed the audience to grow as they wondered what would happen with the characters. An audience that grew so large that the finale movie was released in theaters and made about $36 million. That's a stunning number when you consider the first 30 minutes had already been released and fans knew the final episode would become available on YouTube for free a few weeks later. It shows that, like with studio animation, if an independent animator creates a world and characters viewers connect to, they'll be willing to follow them on their journey. Meanwhile, Glitch has also partnered with the Owl House creator Dana Terrace on their new series Knights of Guinevere, which has already created buzz with its cyberpunk setting. They've similarly teamed up with some of the folks behind Game Grumps on the recently released pilot Gameoverse. Ross O'Donovan had been one to develop this for many years, with the original shorts being released all the way back in 2009, eventually working alongside Aaron Hansen on this new pilot. With its space setting, characters jumping to different planets, and homages to classic point-and-click games, Gameoverse received a lot of viewership and a significant fanbase, so I won't be surprised if Glitch decides to order new episodes. I myself was very charmed by this pilot and would certainly be interested in seeing more. These independent animated series have caught the attention of major companies and streamers. The Amazing Digital Circus would see its episodes released on Netflix, and Hazbin Hotel would catch the attention of Amazon, who backed the series in a spin-off show, Hell of a Boss. You also have artists on YouTube using Kickstarter and Patreon to help fund their animated projects, including the likes of Pan Pizza with the show Loki IRL and Toonerific Tariq in his series Hey. Even Amphibia creator Matt Braley is developing his own independent animated series inspired by the Nutcracker. It's great that you have fans of these artists willing to help make these projects a reality and are passionate about them getting the opportunity to do what they want. I think of this age when it seems like big companies in the tech industry keep trying to push generative AI, there's a great desire for the authenticity of independent productions made by artists actually doing art that comes from their own imagination. With AI just being a plagiarism machine and spitting out images in a way that a lot of people don't find all that appealing, that's only going to push viewers towards these indie animation projects made by artists with a story they want to tell and characters they want to bring to the world. And that's through their own drawings or puppets or the figures they themselves create on the computer. One strange occurrence I've noticed is this need to pit big studio productions, like those from Disney, Pixar, and DreamWorks, against these indie projects, but they're not in competition with each other. Any animation has value, whether created by a team in some studio in Burbank or done by a small group of artists getting funding from other sources. They're just trying to create stories using the resources available to them, and I don't view one as superior to the other. Yes, a movie like Flow probably would not have been produced by the studio system, and while I brought up Hoodwinked as an independent success after it was picked up by the Weinstein Company, they then proceeded to recast many of the voices with big celebrities. I shudder to think what Weinstein would have done with a movie like Flow. On the other hand, animation directors have managed to produce several wonderful films, shorts, and series at Disney, Pixar, Warner Brothers, and other notable studios. As long as they have the needed support, directors, story artists, and animators can be creative anywhere. I love seeing the work being produced of both those aforementioned studios and the artists working independently and now receiving more attention than ever for their work, whether going the traditional route at film festivals or looking for a distributor or just making them available on YouTube and Vimeo and gaining fans that way. I look forward to seeing what these independent animators continue to make in the future as they carve out their own place in the ever-expanding animation world. See you next time.